Welcome back. As I promised in my intro, my dear viewers, that the main segment of this episode of Cairo Local Time is going to tackle journalism. We are going to speak in detail about the role of journalism in spreading awareness, but let me start welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Mr. Muhammad Sabreen, Managing Editor of Al Ahram newspaper. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
You're welcome.
Before going into the details of journalism and its role in spreading awareness and the elections in the Syndicate of Journalism, which are taking place these days in Egypt, let me first ask you about newspapers. With the social media, with Facebook, with Twitter, with the internet in general, do you think that the newspapers lost a lot of its glory and it's going to vanish a day after the other, or they are going to remain whenever there are people who are all the time in love with reading, with the touch of the papers?
I think, the newspaper or the print media is going to stay with us for a long time. And but in the other hand, I think the new media or the social media is an opportunity and also a challenge. I think a challenge to the other media that you have to be very quick, very accurate, and also you have to have a new voices and a new talks to a new era. I think,
And other generations.
Another generations, and also even the old generation with a new tools or a new toys opened for them a different and a
for
very
example,
important.
You are working in one of the oldest institutes here in Egypt, which is Al Ahram. The portal of Al Ahram Online. Do you think that it's equally now important as the printed Al Ahram, I mean the newspaper, or till the moment the printed issue or edition is more important?
I think, it's very easy to say, the print media still treated as a very serious medium, and also whenever you are writing, whatever you are writing, and it's going to be taken very seriously. And it's like, if we could compare it like a sandwich compared with a proper meal.
Okay. Let's go to the Syndicate of Journalism. And as I said, the elections are taking place. The General Secretary is going to be chosen, and the board also. You, as a journalist, what are your demands from the board and from the General Secretary? Because these days, as you've kindly mentioned, we are facing a lot of challenges, and journalism has a very important role. So, as a journalist, what are your demands?
I think basically, a syndicate is, the main job is to defend the rights of its own members, and also try to fight or try to negotiate in their behalf to get more benefits. And also, in the other hand, the syndicate must equip its members with a lot of things which could make them much better to be ready to meet their duties.
Yeah.
And especially for the new generations who are by reality, I think they need to get more training in different
fields.
Yeah. And also in different international and also regional institute and big names, media outlets, just to improve their skills.
Sir, let's say 20 years ago, or let's go back more, 30 years ago, you would find just 2 or 3 channels, 2 or 3 satellite channels, and that's it. And our 3 newspapers, Al-Ahram, Al-Akhbar, and Al-Jumhuriyya, and maybe some of the newspapers released by the political parties, and that's it. Now the case is totally different. Now you would find hundreds of channels, satellite channels, or maybe thousands, and also tens or hundreds of newspapers and magazines. How do you see this? Is it an advantage or a disadvantage? I mean, the layman in the street, the ordinary citizen, benefited from that, or he is now that much feeling that he is perplexed or in trouble, do not know who to believe and who not to believe?
I think, everything's could be, a plus or a minus.
Positive or negative?
Positive or negative. I think, we are no longer in a very narrow, limited world. The world is very full of opportunities and full of things, which is, you have many choices.
Mm-hmm.
So the limited choices, the society with limited choices is no longer with us. Egypt is more riches, compared with the past, and also our world is much more complicated and also much more open. So in this regard, I think for people who are working in our field, this is a plus for them, because they have more and more outlet.
Mm-hmm.
But in the other hand, I think, for the customers, they have to do more homework.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see which one they like it and which one is more serious compared with others.
Which one is deserving confidence or trust?
Confidence and trust, it's earned.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a given. You have to work in this trust every day and every night. And even now with this, the moving times, and you have to work for it maybe every minute.
Mm-hmm. But sir, there is a very thin line between freedom of expression and being rude. There is a very thin line between criticizing something and insulting someone.
Yeah.
Are we able to differentiate between this and that, or unfortunately there are journalists who till the moment cannot differentiate between this and that?
I think, it's the common sense, and I think, you could very easily ask the journalists or the writers, how could you stand what you are writing about the others? Mm-hmm. Do you think that you could stand being, insulted
that way?
Mm-hmm. I think, they have to understand that they do have a very powerful tools,
mm-hmm.
Which is, you could...
This?
Yeah, it's, the pen or, the TV, tool.
Why I'm asking you this question, sir? Because when it comes to the main incidents which are taking place all over the world in the past 5 years, for example, you would find media playing a very important role, whether social media or TVs, or all the media outlets. How do you see the sense of responsibility when it comes to the media people? Are they up to the mission, or unfortunately some of them should not work in this field from the beginning?
Yeah, this is a very good question and also a very difficult one. I think by the end of the day, it is up to to the customer, to the readers, to the the ones who are watching the TV, to give us his or her blessing and his or her approval, and it is very easy to deceive some people for a short time, but it is not easy to deceive
some
all
examples.
the people all the times.
Yeah. Since we are speaking with someone representing Al-Ahram, so Yusuf Al-Sabai, so Al-Ustad when it comes to Haykal, so Ibrahim Nafa, we are talking about big names when it comes to Al-Ahram and to press or journalism all over the Arab world, not only in Egypt. If I want to list what is similar, what are the things in common between or among those three names? Is it to be sincere enough? Is it to be completely devoted to writing and to journalism? Is it to know well what exactly the layman in the street wants and he will write regarding this, to fulfill his needs, not the leadership or the cabinet needs or the government needs, to fulfill the needs of the reader, or as you've kindly mentioned, because I don't know why you are describing the reader as a customer.
Because by the end of the day, going back to your first question regarding, the future of the print media, I was attending, a conference in Amsterdam for, the editor-in-chiefs and publisher. And, this question was raised, and several speakers put it very beautifully. Mm-hmm. There was an experience in Spain that, they were complaining that, the readers are not reading, and the future is very glim, and all of a sudden new media, print media was emerged, and then they discovered that there is around 4 million new readers. Mm-hmm. So the speaker said that the customer are there, but the product is not there. Mm-hmm. So it is not the customer problem, it is your problem. Mm-hmm. Whenever you are coming with a good product, customer wanted, you will find the customer. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, journalists and media people think that, they know better. Mm-hmm. They don't take into consideration that, your customer is the one who knows better, because by the end of the day, he is the one who's going to pay the money, and also who is the one who is going to watch or go to another channel.
Yeah. Then you are telling me that you want all the journalists to develop, to work on themselves all the time, to be able to fulfill their mission as a successful way or a successful source of data, of information, and to have a good product. And when he or she has a good product, it's going to be attractive for the customer or the reader.
Yeah,
this is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
But sir, when it comes to the current situation, for example, and when we are speaking here in Egypt, and by the way, what I'm going to say is implemented or applied on newspapers and on TV channels. You would find some people saying, oh, what we are going to watch, everything is going to be repeated, whether here or there. What we are going to read in Al-Ahram is exactly what we are going to read in Al-Akhbar, nothing new. What we are going to watch in this talk show is exactly what we are going to watch in the other. How to be different? How to be distinguished among others?
Yeah, again, you ask a very difficult one, but I think this is, by the end of the day, in this field, it is it's all about distinguishing, you know. You can't, you mentioned several big writers and big names in our field.
Who are all the chief editors of Al Ahram?
Yeah. But you know, if we go back, you know, like Ahmad Bahauddin or Haykal, or you know, Makram Muhammad Ahmad, or you know, you name it, everyone is different from the other.
Sure.
And everyone in himself is a very distinguished one, very sophisticated and very good writer and good journalist. So by the end of the day, you know, by nature, this professions is actually demanding, you know, every one of us to be distinguished, to be very sophisticated, and also working so hard to convince or to meet, you know, the aspirations. Sometimes, you know, your readers would expect from you to surprise them, to serve them in a better way. And also, you know, there is a huge difference between, you know, mass media or a newspaper for the mass, or a newspaper for, you know, the elitist, for, you know, the very distinguished and sophisticated elite people. You know, you have to differentiate between, you know, which customer you are actually applying. You have to know your customer, you have to know your readers. You know, if you are writing to the average man on the street, you have to speak to him with a language he could understand. But if you are speaking to the more sophisticated, the more intellectual ones, you have to address them and speak to them.
Is it a culture, sir? I mean, not. By the way, it's not so long ago. You would find men on cafes by night discussing what they have read in the morning. I mean, the column of Anis Mansour, for example, Situations in Al Ahram. The column of Salah Muntasir in Al Ahram. The very short note by the great Ahmed Ragab in Al Akhbar, Nabil Ismat. I'm not going to mention all names because we do have a lot of names when it comes to our press. But now, okay, I'm going to see it on my Facebook. Of course, it's going to be on YouTube if it is something said, not written, you know, stuff like that. Is it a culture? I mean, our culture developed, unfortunately, not to the better way of dealing with the information or the data around us?
I think, you know, it is very it's very complicated. You know, first of all, you know, it is a reflection of the standard of education.
Okay.
You know, because when I was young, I was reading all, you know, the novels and, you know, stories and everything. And the education was very, very deep and so on. Mm-hmm. So this is one thing. And the other thing which is very important, you know, the style of living. Yeah. Not only in Egypt, but all around the world, you know, what they call it now is, you know, the culture of takeaway and, you know, the sandwich, not a proper meal. And I think, you know, here and
maybe the weekly editions are very important when it comes in specific to the newspapers. I mean, in Al Ahram it's on Friday, in Al Akhbar it's on Saturday. The weekly editions are very important, and it may last for the whole week with the reader, every day to read something. I think so. But sir, as we do, unfortunately we're running out of time. I do have many other questions, but the most important question is, a mercenary is someone who is paid to kill. Mm-hmm. And there is a mercenary who is writing also to kill. Both are to hurt our national security. Agree? Mm. Do you agree with that first?
Yeah. This is, you know, this is you know, the stage of a new battles right now.
what to do against those, how to combat those who are writing for their own benefits rather than for the best interest of Egypt and the Egyptians. Because this is a very important issue. Because what they are doing may spread negativity, frustration, depression, and this is something which I'm sorry to say is not less than any kind of terrorism or terrifying the innocents.
Yeah, when I mentioned that, this is actually the battle of ideas, which is, we are seeing all around, even in America now, that, that the Russians are invading America and destabilizing, American society and also the American democracy. And in the other hand,
this is not proven yet, sir. All these are media reports.
Yeah, this is what, but by the end of the day, if you are watching, Russia Today and also other media outlet, you will see this battles or war of ideas. Everyone is actually trying to advocate and move his or her agenda. And what happened in the Arab countries, during the last few years was also a reflection of the conflict of ideas and conflict of, ideologies also.
Yeah.
But what we could say in this regard, I think this put in the shoulder of the Egyptian media people to be raised to the standard of the job or to the channel of this fight and try to serve their audience and also their readers with the best, to explain that, whatever the issue is very complex, have many dimensions with a lot of knowledge and a lot of facts and in a very reasonable and very sophisticated, way of putting the facts and the conflicts. Why this guy, why this country is actually adhering or coming from this way, not from the other way. The world is very complex, and it is very important to educate and also to explain and communicate and have the language with your own people, to trust you and to look for you to get the knowledge and the public and the opinions regarding whatever the issue of the day.
Well, Mr. Muhammad Sabri, Manager Editor of Al Ahram newspaper, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, by this we come to the end of this episode of Cairo Local Time. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.